Simmons with us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping this past weekend's action and previewing your upcoming opponent.
Definitely. Exciting time for our football team. First time in a few years that we've been able to start the season off with the win. And obviously being a conference win, a divisional win was really, really huge. I thought the guys locked in all through our training camp. I thought they understood what was at stake. I thought their mindset going down to Miami was very, very mature. And that's what you expect from a group that has 24 graduates and a bunch of seniors. You know, we do our meal call-ups by classes, and by the time I get to the sophomores, everyone's pretty much eaten already. So there's about 2 sophomores, maybe and a freshman on the trip. Everyone else is graduates and seniors and juniors. So with a veteran team, you expect those guys to be mature and handle themselves appropriately. And started fast, opened the kickoff for a touchdown, obviously gave us a lot of momentum, gave us a lot of confidence, and they carried that all the way through the first half. Obviously very disappointed in how we finished, but had a large enough cushion where the lack of focus, the lack of intensity, and the mental errors didn't hurt us. But we can't rest on that, because against good, moving forward, that it will come back to bite us. And so we definitely got to fix those little things and then get ready to go and face arguably our toughest challenge of the season against a South Florida football team that played a really, really good Western Kentucky team down to the wire this past weekend. So going to play probably the fastest team that we're going to face between the whistles on offense. Play probably the most multiple team that we'll see as far as defensive fronts and looks. And so we got a lot to prepare for in a short week. But again, great feeling to be 1-0, 1-0 in conference play, and looking forward to getting better and get back on the field this week.
Appreciate those comments, Coach Simmons. First question goes to James Hill.
Good morning, Coach. I hope you and everybody on the highest of 7 hills are well. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, James.
Good. When you talk about the culture and the winning philosophy and the winning mindset and getting it done against Jackson, just talk about continuing to grind it out and build your program, and it's all about W's.
Well, for us, it's all about how we approach every day. We obviously have ultimate team goals, which is to win the Celebration Bowl. Can't do that without winning the SWAC. Can't do that without winning the East. Can't do that without beating your natural rivalry. So, obviously we have our ultimate goals, but our main focus every day is to be where our feet are. And that's to make sure that every opportunity we get to get better, we take advantage of it. Our goal this week is to be 1-0. 1-0 after this weekend, not thinking about winning back-to-back games, not thinking about where we are in the standings, just thinking about this weekend and what we need to do every day to prepare ourselves to play our best ball on Saturday. That's our focus. And so if we keep that mindset, we'll block out the outside noise. We'll be able to keep the main thing, and that's cleaning up the mistakes from last week and figuring out what we need to do to go down there and compete with this football team.
Coach, going into Tampa, Rattlers Nation travels well, but just talk about going in, punching the clock, and just playing another football game and doing what you do.
Well, we're excited about the fact that our fan base can travel down to Tampa Bay. Chance to play in another NFL stadium. That's very exciting for our guys. But again, huge task at hand, huge challenge. But that's why you come to FAMU to play games like this. And so we know it's at stake. We have to be ready to play. We got to get lined up on defense. If we can't get lined up, they're going to gash us. They have a very dynamic quarterback. Ran for over 100 yards last week, threw for over 200. So got to definitely make sure we account for him. And if you can't get lined up, he's gonna beat you up pretty bad. Defensively, our offense versus their defense, obviously we gotta identify the bodies. They move around a lot, moving parts on the back end, on the front end, at the second level. So got to communicate well and make sure we get everyone protected and keep Jeremy upright. So again, great challenge for us, but excited that we're going to have Rattler Nation supporting us as we go down to Tampa this week.
Next
Thank
question,
you, sir.
Mason Smith.
Good morning, Coach. I hope everything's well. And Tallahassee, the question I have for you is specifically about, about South Florida. Understanding that's an in-state rival. I understand that, recruiting is not the biggest focus at the moment, but when you're, establishing the reputation of a program, especially in a talent-rich state like Florida, how valuable is it to go down there and compete and possibly win against an in-state rival?
Well, I'll correct you. Recruiting is always the number one focus. We just have to make sure that we do it in the midst of game prep and all the other things we do. But talent acquisition is always at the forefront of our minds. We got to make sure we can field a team that's competitive, and that comes through recruiting. But the chance to go down to Tampa, another hotbed area in recruiting. We'll get coaches out on the road this week to go watch some of the high school games and visit with schools. So we'll prepare. But again, we're also trying to do the part of the program that keeps us sustainable, which is recruit great talent.
And of course, the Orange Blossom Classic has been a conference game for a long time, but the idea of having a conference win under your belt already, as you're still developing and growing as the season goes, how valuable is that to get a conference win so early, knowing you have one under your belt?
Well, what it means is that we can still control our own destiny. And as long as we can keep it that way, and we'll be in good shape. So that's the biggest difference this year than the last 2 years. This time, last 2 years, we were playing from behind, and we had to hope some things went well for us to be back in the thick of it. Right now, we control our destiny, and we got to just make sure we continue to prepare and keep it that way.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill with Dr. Cavill inside the HBC Sports Lab. How's it going this morning, Coach Simmons?
Going well.
I bet you it is. With that being said, Marcus Riley, transfer there, 120 yards, 2 attempts long, opening up with the kickoff. Talk about his play, big play, and how much of that was just the energy of the team being really focused going into the game.
Well, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. One, he has immense talent. He's arguably one of our fastest guys, probably the second fastest on the team. One of the fastest guys in the conference. Very dynamic, very explosive, and we're very blessed to have Marcus here, with us. Hadn't returned kicks very much in his life, but obviously wanted to give him a chance to do that in this last year, and he made the most of it with 2 explosive returns. But he had great blocking. We did a lot of drill work this training camp, more special teams drill work than I've ever seen, but it paid off in a big way. And so obviously got to clean up field goal, but every other phase I thought we played extremely well. So blessed to have guys like Marcus Riley and Jamari Asherie that's return me in, because obviously they can flip the field very, very quickly.
Follow-up question is about Mr. Brown, quarterback over there for South Florida, obviously playing up FBS, but it is an opportunity to play in this game and see what can get done. He was pretty dynamic in terms of what he was doing, particularly with his feet. He threw the ball 15 to 34, as you know, in terms of total yards, 166, but he was able to get 160 yards rushing on 25 carries for 2 touchdowns. How do you prep in terms of the diversity of what he's able to do at the quarterback position?
Well, obviously they do a great job of maximizing his ability as a runner. And so when you play a running quarterback, it goes back to old school triple option football. Somebody's got to dive, running back. Somebody's got to take quarterback. Somebody's got to take pitch, which is over those fast receivers out there on the perimeter. So we got to get lined up. You got to play assignment football. And the guy that has a quarterback has a tall task, because you got to tackle a big athlete in space. And so we can consistently do that. I think we'll disrupt their rhythm, but they have a really good scheme. They play really fast. And it's definitely going to pose a set of challenges for our defense that we hadn't seen in a long time.
Thank you.
Try to get to 2 more questions here quickly. The first one goes to Michael Jefferson.
Good morning, Coach. Congratulations on a big win. My son is ecstatic. He's been kind of poking the bear here because I'm a grad of Jackson State. So congrats on finally getting that win against J-State. But what did you see in that game, in Jackson State's first game, that you were able to truly exploit? Because normally it's an advantage of being able to play one game because you're ready, but you guys were able to just take it to them. So what were you able to see that you were able to exploit?
Well, the biggest thing for us, obviously we just wanted to play a good brand of football. We scout them just like we scout everyone else. They scouted us. We had the same play callers on both sides. So we did some things differently going into the game that we knew we were going to do. But we really wanted to make sure that we took advantage of every opportunity. We knew that Jason Brown is not a dual threat quarterback. He's a pocket passer, much like Musa. And if you can get him in a rhythm, he can hurt you. So we wanted to really disrupt him with our front 4, mix up the looks for him, take away the free access throws that he had week 1. And that was really the game plan. On the other side of the ball, we were really interested to see how they would adjust to us with the different look that we presented. And if we just executed those things, we felt that we'd have a good shot. So for the most part, we did that. Obviously, we got some cleanup work to do, but I thought our guys stuck to the game plan that we gave them.
Great. Thanks, Coach.
Last question goes to Henry.
Hey, excuse me. Good morning, Coach. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Henry. How are you?
Doing well. Coach, you mentioned earlier about how you finished the game. Was that more of just kind of play calling, getting a little bit more conservative, or was it just kind of the guys kind of pull back a little bit, or can you explain that for us?
Well, obviously, I think it's a combination of things. We had a comfortable lead. So obviously, when you're up that big, you don't want to take chances with the ball. And so we really wanted to establish the run. And for the most part, I thought we did that. People will look at the score and say we didn't score the second half. We had 2 blocked field goals. So you take that away. We had a touchdown call back on a holding call that, again, I think half the people saw it might disagree with it. So you take those points off the board. We had the ball on the 3-yard line the last drive of the game and, didn't get aggressive with our play calling, so didn't punch that in. But I think the positive thing to note is that we got the ball back after the turnover with 7.5 minutes left in the game. Jackson State didn't touch the ball again. And so we were able to control the clock and run the clock out running the football. That's growth as a football team. Last year, I don't think we could have done that. We didn't have the ability to run the ball the way we did. And so that's a huge step in the right direction. Obviously, as a perfectionist, I'm always going to take away the things we need to improve upon, as far as just Moose making some throws. He was uncharacteristic and missed some throws that he hadn't missed in a while, wide open guys running down the field. We had some penalties there later, personal fouls and just unsportsmanlikes and things of that nature. And so we cleaned those up. I mean, I think we have the type of offensive explosion that we come to expect here. But whenever you can run for 200 yards against a defense like Jackson and run the ball every play for 7.5 minutes, there's a lot of positives to take away.
All right, Coach, and follow up to that, you mentioned Musa. When we spoke to him at Media Day, he mentioned that this would be his first time actually in the same system for a second year. What are some things that you saw in him in live game action in year 2 that really encourage you for the future going forward?
Well, I thought he was on time for the most part. His feet were a lot more comfortable than they were at times last year. His front shoulder still tends to rise up a little bit when he's moving in the pocket. So just got to continue to drill that. I got to call my quarterback guru, KJ Black, to figure out what I got to do with Moose to get that lead shoulder down. But if he can do that, and make those accurate throws over the middle, he can be a very, very dangerous quarterback. And the deep balls he missed, I think just holding it one more second, he's trying to throw it on time and it's full speed. Marcus Riley hadn't practiced a whole lot because of some injuries and things of that nature. So just getting the timing down to know how far to throw the ball for him to go get it. K-Dot obviously had run around a bunch on returns, and so maybe didn't have the leg or that gear to catch up to the couple of deep balls he overthrew him on. So just that timing that those guys need, and not trying to be perfect. When the guy's running wide open, the hardest thing to do is take a little bit off of it, even pull him up. If I got to pull him up and he catches it and he gets 40 and gets caught like K-Dot did later, that's better than an overthrow. You have a 0% chance of completing an overthrow. If you underthrow him, maybe he catches and scores, maybe he gets walked down at the 5. But either way, you got an explosive play. So just got to get him and other quarterbacks to understand that when the guy's wide open, you don't have to be perfect with it. You just got to put it on his body.
All right,
Coach
thank
Simmons,
you, Coach.
as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you, guys. Have a great week.
Thank you.